Hello everybody, I'm Robert Reber, an aspiring director of photography, and I'm sitting here with Kevin Keiser and Adam Kerchman. And today, the first thing I want to ask you, I mean, both of you, you're a director of photography, right?
Yeah.
Kevin, and Adam, you're our camera operator.
You got it.
And so we geek out a little bit here with all this tech talk. First thing I want to ask you was, with all this new technology coming out, Red kind of started it with the modular technology, where you are able to switch out things, and there are now beta cameras that are coming out that you could switch out the sensors on it, or the different different parts on it, and even maybe just change the firmware of how it operates. Do you guys see that as being the future, or do you feel that something more stable, more sturdy is the way it's going to go?
I don't know. I mean, I feel, there's a different tool for every job.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in theory, it sounds great that you could switch it out, for whatever application that you need to use. I don't know. What do you think?
I think for me, I definitely think of different tools for different specific situations. And so for me, I'd rather have something that was catered to that one situation as opposed to kind of something that would mold around and become the tool for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the question, it's kind of the thing is, what if you can have a box and you switch out the sensor to what you want it to be?
Sure. Like the Axiom was something where they were swapping out
exactly,
sensors.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit hesitant to say that will be the future. I feel like I'd rather have a camera where I know outside I'll take an Alexa because the roll-off's great.
Right.
Or inside, like if it's nighttime, I'll take a C300 because the low light's disgustingly good.
So I mean, so the things you're talking about are specific features. Could you kind of describe to the like between the Alexa and the C300? Because when you say roll off, what do you mean by roll off?
Sure. Okay. So highlight roll off. So let's say if we're outside, it's super sunny outside, and we want to make sure that our highlights are clean, they're still there, and we don't blow anything out. That's what I mean by it.
Got it. So basically, it gives you good exposure.
Sure.
It gives you a better dynamic range. I mean,
there you go.
That's what all these digital cameras that are coming out, they're all trying to compete with film, right? Because film has the best dynamic range. It's the most beautiful roll off in your highlights and in your shadows. And all of these digital cameras are trying to mimic that. Nobody has come perfectly to that. So it's a different tool for a different type of, for every job.
Really? So no one's come perfectly to film. Is it? I mean, but film's still being phased out, right?
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, digital is the future, obviously.
Okay.
We all know that. But I don't think anyone has replicated film 100%. Now, that's not saying that the looks that the digital sensors have are bad. I'm just saying nobody has actually replicated what traditional film would capture. I think the Alexa is probably, in my mind, the closest camera that I've seen and has said, wow, this is beautiful. This, could take over and be the camera that, you would want to use. If you had an unlimited budget and didn't have to think about it.
Right, if money was no object,
Yeah.
right? My second question that kind of follows up on that a little bit is, now there's this whole thing coming is 4K or Ultra HD as the technical term or the consumer term for it. And sometimes people think that 4K is automatically raw, is automatically great picture, but 4K is what? Is it picture size? Is it the quality? What is 4K?
Well, 4K is, it's a pixel density, and it's also it's a resolution. So what is it, 4,000?
496 or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
pixels lengthwise.
Yeah. My whole thing is I haven't bought into the 4K yet because most television stations aren't even, 720 yet. So
right.
To switch over to 1080 is going to take a long time. 4K is so out of our, And I feel like we all get caught up in the pixel, the pixel peeping and that. And, I'd rather just have a camera that works out of the box. That's why the show that we're shooting on now, we shoot on the Canons, the C100s, the C300s, because it's a beautiful picture. We know it's going to work. We don't really care about, 4K or anything like that. We just want something that's going to create a beautiful image. I feel like the whole 4K discussion, people should focus more on their composition, their story, and their lighting, and not worry about, whether or not it's going to be 4K or 8K or Ultra HD,
Right.
Agreed. For me, it's more how many stops of dynamic range can I fit into the sensor. So I don't care how big a picture I get because ultimately it will be 720p or something like that.
Get downsized or downgraded or something. Yeah, okay. Awesome. So thank you guys. I have a couple more questions. Hope you could stay. So I'll ask those when we get back.